Yeah, well, we've met this Royal Enfield 1140cc KX model before. It's from 1937, I believe, and I did some work on it quite recently, and then it went home. I rode this one up the Black Mountain, over the Black Mountain and back, and everything went quite well. Although in the early stages of that ride I had noticed a couple of times the clutch slipped a little, but then after that it seemed to settle down, and I thought it was okay. The bike went back to the owner after I did all the various little bits and pieces that I had to do with it, and he rode it, and he was quite alarmed that the clutch was slipping quite badly and possibly needed looking at, and hopefully not replacement, because apparently parts are nigh on impossible to get. So it's been back here and I've had a look at it, and it's actually, I didn't know last time because I didn't look at it at all, but it's got this cover. You can remove those 6 screws I think we've got there, and this cover comes off, and I thought it was just like an access window for the clutch, which it actually is, but to my surprise I also learned that it's actually got a dry clutch that's totally outboard of a recess in this cover where the sprocket and the chain and everything runs to drive it, so it's a totally dry clutch. I stripped it down, it's quite conventional, and it was very dirty and gunged up. It had all sorts of greasy residue inside it between the plates and on the plates, so I cleaned them all up, spotless. There was a bit of wear there, nothing too serious, until I got all the plates out, and the back of the clutch drum, or basket if you like, which has a plain metal face with a lining material on it, most of that lining material had gone, and what was left of it was sort of gone quite sort of rubbery, and I think it just sort of mixed up with the grease and whatever that had gone in there and turned to a sort of mush really. So I cleaned that all out, and I actually managed to find a Ferodo friction disc for something, I don't know what, amongst all my bits and pieces, that I was able to make fit in there, and I glued it in onto the steel face of the clutch drum, and then put all the plates back in clean, reassembled the clutch obviously, and I've tried it on the bike lift. I pull the clutch in, it kicks over freely, you know, without turning the engine. It releases nicely, and when you let the clutch out it turns the engine. So I'm going to go up and down a lane on it next, because I haven't ridden it at all since I've done the clutch, and then hopefully, if I'm happy with that, we'll be going for a ride further afield on it and try it out, and hopefully see that the clutch is now all okay. So I'll have a quick run up and down the lane on it, which I won't film, and then if I'm happy I'll get my bike jeans and jacket and so on, and we'll go and have a run. Not as far as, I'm not going up the Black Mountain again, I'll do something a little bit shorter, but there'll be a fair bit of climbing and cornering involved, and it'll probably take about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, and long enough to make sure that everything's alright hopefully. So we'll pick up where I leave off here soon, all being well. Okay, let's go and see if the clutch behaves itself on this old Royal Enfield Model KX. And we'll do a run of, I think it's probably going to be about 13 or 14 miles, something like that, the one I've got in mind. I'm not going to take this up Bantam Hill because it's so narrow there and windy. We might meet a tractor coming the other way and write the tractor off. So let's stick to the more sort of roomy sort of local roads. So we'll head up the A482 towards Pimpsaint, past Capel Dewi where I turn to Bantam Hill, and we'll go round in a loop through a village called Creegabar and head back towards home, all being well. Maybe not. Carb up a bit. Some choke. Some advance. Aha! There they are, we're in business. Let's go. Stop a minute. I've got a fly in my helmet and it was going in my ear. Torture. That was absolutely horrible. At least it wasn't a horsefly. Right. Move up in second gear. No problem. the road and hoping it's not oil. just going past what I call Bill's Bar, and in a moment there's a lane on our left which I believe links up with the road. If I turned left at the top of Bantam Hill instead of right, I would come out here on the left. We'll try it one day. I think we'll make this junction in second gear as well. Effortless. We'll do this one in second as well. No problem. great, or was that great? Let's just try a hot start. No problem there. I'll just do my Mr. Universe impression. Lift this thing on its stand. Well, how great was that, eh? You know, when you just don't want to get off a bike when you're riding it, you don't want that ride to come to an end. That's what this was like for me there. Fantastic bike. I'd have one of these in the blink of an eye if they weren't so rare and so expensive. What a fantastic old machine. Right, well, I didn't quite get to say everything that I tried to say after that ride because the camera hit 29 minutes and stopped filming, and I probably only had another half a minute or so to witter on about this thing. But basically what I missed out of that last clip, which I'll say here, was on that ride I did still notice very slight clutch slip now and again in the higher gears if you rolled the throttle on and made it pull. Nothing like the clutch slip I experienced a couple of times when I went up the Black Mountain at one point, where it really sort of growled a bit where I moved off in second gear when I met that lorry on the hill pulling out in front of me. But the clutch, I thought at the time, seemed to sort of settle in and work alright, I thought. So I really thought no more of it, but the owner brought it to my attention that it was slipping quite badly, so I've already explained what I did. But the slight slip we've got now, I think could probably be taken up by screwing the clutch pressure plate spring screws in a little further, but that would also make the clutch heavier. And at the moment it's fairly heavy but not overly heavy. I could probably put up with it being a little heavier, but some people might not. I'm not sure whether the owner would want it any heavier than that or not, so I think I'm going to leave it like that. And if he wants to, all he's got to do is take this cover off and tighten up the 6 pressure plate spring screws a little bit. Probably a turn or turn and a half each would probably do it if he wanted to, but like I say, the lever operation would then become heavier as a result. I've also, same as last time when it came here, I think, seen that the handlebars are just a little bit skewiff on it, and I think that might have happened. There we are, I've just pulled that up actually. Probably happened while it was in transit. So there's not a big problem there, but I'll see if I can nip that up anymore. Basically there's rubber bushes in that top yoke there. It's supposed to sort of soak up vibration, but they also allow the handlebars to slew a little bit if they're not done up as tight as perhaps they should be, so I'll look at that as well. But overall it rode very nicely indeed. I really enjoyed riding it, and it's a fantastic old bike, and I think it's probably also ready to go home. I'm sure it's going to be a very enjoyable and reliable bike. I'd certainly be happy to call it my own. If I ever come into a load of money, I'll look out for one of these because they're just so enjoyable. Fantastic old bike.